Welcome to College Football Monday, a Sons of Saturday live show brought to you by Jack and Coke. I'm your host, Pete B. I've got Sam Jesse here. We are just a couple days away from Christmas. Sam, how you feeling, man?
I am feeling holly and jolly. Pete, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Had an awesome weekend. Got to see some friends down in Arlington. Probably should have done some more prepping for Christmas. These next couple days are going to get a little bit dicey, but I'm nevertheless excited for the holiday and seeing family and whatever else. This is our national show, College Football Monday. Going to go over everything that happened in college football this past weekend. First round of the playoffs, FCS playoffs, along with a heavy dose of what the Hokies were up to. And we got a new coach. We got some guys reaffirming their commitment to the program. Some schedule news. We'll go over all of that in VT Corner. That's the good stuff. Make sure to give us a like and subscribe if you're following on YouTube. For now, Sam, I need you to give us a cheers.
Yeah, my cheers is to the holiday season, whatever you might celebrate. I think, like, as you get older, and this, I sound like, as I get older, I'm in my upper 20s. Like, the second and third week of December fly by. And so it's Christmas like that right on you. Don't take it for granted. Spend time with your loved ones. Watch cheesy Christmas movies. Listen to Mariah Carey and Kelly Clarkson Christmas albums. Embrace it. Love it. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Cheers, dude. Sam and I are both going for something a little bit more milky. Or I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm having the eggnog that has been posted to our Instagram and our Twitter. I got a hold of the
not know about
Creamery.
Homestead eggnog?
I was not aware. Wow. I'd heard of Homestead Creamery. I didn't know they had the eggnog.
I'm wearing the NC State hoodie tonight. NC State's Creamery has elite eggnog.
Well, they're not in the state of Virginia. I've looked up where Homestead Creamery is. It's down there. It's like you had to go to Roanoke and then like straight down into
boonies.
Yeah, man. It's
up there in them hills.
But you can get the eggnog at Whole Foods in Arlington. And so I was able to track some down yesterday. I'm going to take some to my sisters on Wednesday for New Year's Eve. But yeah, I got some bourbon in there. I did a little makers tonight in the Homestead Creamery eggnog. I'll give it a little bit of a review later, but so far so good. We also started a Buy Me a Coffee. If you guys aren't familiar with what that is, it's kind of like a Patreon. There's no subscription. There's not going to be any paid content. It's just a place that if you like the show, want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/2deep. You're never going to have to type in the thing. It's in the description of the video. It's in the chat. I think I dropped it in there at one point. But yeah, Buy Me a Coffee. Just another way to support the show. And yes, Homestead is fire. As I learned, they even shot me like a DM on Twitter saying thanks for sharing and here's where you can find it and all that good stuff. So I had to do it because I was going down to see my buddy's new place. Arash, who used to sponsor the show, he had the store Dominion Wine and Beer. He opened up a bar in Falls Church called Stratford Garden. It's kind of like a beer garden, kind of like a nice restaurant. I was there on Saturday for the opening weekend, and it is sweet. We watched some of the Oregon JMU game there. It was fun. It's a really cool spot. Check it out if you're down in the Nova, DC area. So I think we're going to start off with Bobby Petrino joining Bill Belichick's staff. Sam, just kidding.
Like a match made in heaven.
Yeah. It's definitely weird. A lot of mistress jokes were happening, that kind of thing, younger girlfriend type of thing. But also the other news just before we get into the games was Notre Dame and USC, their series may be coming to an end. They're having a hard time getting an agreement done here.
Yeah, and what it sounds like is a scheduling issue. Notre Dame wants it to be played towards the back half of the season. USC wants it played towards the beginning of half of the season where they're normally playing their non-conference games, and USC normally does a week 0 game as well. So it's kind of, that's really it. I think Notre Dame, the bigger story from all of this is Notre Dame is going to have significant scheduling issues over the next 5 to 6 years. I know they added BYU in here today. I think they're going to have some troubles. Now, that being said, they've made it kind of contractually if they go 11-1 with a dog shit schedule, they can still get into the playoff. And so
Yeah, but
they've
it does
kind of
make the 10-2 thing tougher. But did you mention the way the new contract is with their top 12?
yes. So like if they finish in the top 12, they're in. Now that's as long as there is 12 or 14 teams in the playoff.
Mhm,
12
mhm.
or 14. If it gets to 16, the contract is null and void. So they're basically guaranteed a playoff spot unless they screw up.
Yeah, I mean, 9-3 can still be a good season, but you're probably not top 12 if you're 9
Mm-mm.
and 3. But here's the thing. The whole playoff structure is gonna change in 2 years
It's gonna change
maximum
next year.
anyway. Yeah, like
I guarantee, like, maybe not the actual structure, but the wording around it and the way the rankings are done will 100% change next year. I don't
and
think
the
you
number
see
of
a G5
teams
dude, I don't know if you see a G5 team in that top 25 unless they are like what Boise State was last year.
with like a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
mean,
what happened this weekend, and so let's talk about it. Round 1
mhm,
in the books, and unlike last year, we saw some road team wins. We saw
mhm.
teams go into other teams' houses and win. Now, the teams that didn't do that were the 2 G5 teams, and we'll get to the game recaps in a minute, but do you think with all the talk that was done about do they belong? Should we have these teams in there at all? Do you think more damage was done to those programs in the playoff this weekend than
Yeah.
the inclusion helps?
So I'll put it this way. When I was playing, uh, when I was doing travel volleyball in high school and we were going to all these tournaments across the country, we played a team, Huntington Beach Volleyball Club, who was the number one ranked team in the country. Every single player on that team and the backups all went to play D1. Two guys on that team are starting on the US Olympics team, and
Oh my
one of them
gosh.
is probably the second or third best player on the team. Shout out TJ DeFalco. Um, we were like not bad, but we got absolutely destroyed. I mean, there was nothing physically that we could do in that game in order to make it competitive. That's kind of what Oregon JMU looked like.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a mismatch and at the end of the day they ended up covering, but that's a different story. I want to include all the conferences, give them all a chance to get in there because on the off year that one of those teams is really freaking good, you want to make sure they have a seat at the table and they're not elbowed out before it even starts. But we all knew going into the weekend, like JMU was not going to win. Now, Tulane, you could have made a case like they were in a tough conference. Maybe this rematch with Ole Miss will go differently. They lost, Ole Miss lost. That didn't go well either. And so it does make you wonder, has the divide between the powers and the non-powers gotten larger? Even though the powers seem to be consolidating in quality, there's a gap because all of their players from the G5 get taken every year.
Yeah, I think the actual G5 teams are probably better. I think once you get to the top of the sport, like I don't know if those programs can develop and strengthen condition their way to that level, like say a TCU or Utah did back in the day, or like Boise State did back in the day. Like I don't think you're going to be able to do that because those guys that you do develop are probably going to get eaten up, especially on the line of scrimmage. Like there's the chance that you can keep a guy like Ashton Genty and tell him, hey, you're going to get picked high in the draft because you're going to get every other time we snap the ball is going to be a touch for you. You're going to be the focal point of the offense. You're going to run up the stats. You can do that at the skill position level. And I think you saw that like with JMU. Wayne Knight had a decent day. Like their receivers were able to do some things. Line of scrimmage, they didn't have a shot. I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't fair. Tulane was the same way. Like Ole Miss, which isn't a great line of scrimmage team, dominated that game in the trenches.
I think part of it is we've expanded the power conferences so much that the top of the power
I
conferences
just I just named two teams that are now in power comp. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. Like we've expanded them so much that the teams that used to be at the top of the G5 are now at the bottom or even the middle of power conferences. And so we've taken their best teams and we're taking all of their players to
Mhm.
a lot of their best players. And so I just feel like more often than not, these games are going to go this way. This was a weird year because the ACC sucks and screwed themselves and screwed it up for everybody
Mhm.
because Duke won our conference. But we had a team that was reasonably good, and if the ACC had gotten their tiebreakers right, this would have all been a non-issue. But here
Yeah.
we are. We finished round one. We did have two good games, and I would still say, on the whole, this first round might have been better than the first round last year.
Oh, I think you had 2 games that were, I mean, came down to the wire,
Mhm.
which was great. And then you had 2 games that I think went as expected, and that is like, I think it's worse if it's a blowout between 2 teams that you don't expect it to be a blowout, you know? Because
Yeah.
this happens in March Madness too, like a team will win by 50.
Well, we have blowouts in the final all the time. Like the blowout thing, they happen. They happen
Mhm.
at every level, at every stage of all the play. The Eagles blew out the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. Like
Yep.
these things happen, and I always want to squeeze that in if I can. But like, look what Georgia did to TCU a couple years ago.
Yep.
Like all of the finals, you look at the scores. They were talking about this on Cover Three. Like they're not that close, and so
Michigan kinda dominated Washington too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, you're always going to have blowouts, but you want to go into the games with people being interested. And I felt
Mhm.
like quickly in both of those games, there was zero interest happening. I got
Do
a
we
question here from
Oh,
Godfrey
yeah.
before we get to the games. Do you think 12 is too many competitive teams in the CFP? I'm not sure exactly what you mean. Like, is
I
12 the right number? I guess we could ask first, or should we just be
Mhm.
consolidating? I like 12. I actually think 12 is a pretty good number.
I like the format, like, I like the idea of the top 4 teams getting a bye. However, I put this in our group chat a couple days ago. I think one of the issues with 12 is if you look historically at college football, you at 12, you have to make the decision between a really good team that had 1 or 2 bad weeks versus what you know to be an average team that ran through an easy schedule.
Yeah.
Like, if you look historically in college football and you go back like a decade, decade and a half, go back to the beginning of the playoff, 10 to 14 is the same grouping of teams normally, or teams that would be seeded. 10 to 14 is normally the same grouping of teams. That's why I think 16, you kind of get to the point where you do include those really good teams who had a couple bad weeks. But then if you cut down to 8, you kind of have the inverse of that problem where, hey, we're not even bothering with those teams who had a couple bad weeks. Like we're only taking the teams that had capital G great seasons. So every number that you come up with is going to have an issue, and every number that you come up with is also going to have 3 or 4 teams that didn't make it in that think they deserve to make it in. At the end of the day, if you look at the 8 that we have right now, probably the top 8 teams in the country.
Yeah. And I could be fine with 8. I mean, there is something talking about whether the regular season's been devalued over the years is just gone over a million times, but there is something to be said for college football at this level, every week mattering, every week having drama, and if you go to 24 teams like some of the proposals, you're just eliminating so much of that.
Yeah.
I think 16 is the absolute maximum I'd want to get because then at least it's a nice balanced playoff. It's, you know, no buys. It's just straight up seeding, 16 team bracket. You get 8 home games for colleges, which would be a huge revenue source for a lot of school. It's just that would be the most I'd want to do. I think anything past that is ridiculous. 12, 14, 16. I'm okay with that. I think you're pushing your limits at 16. But if you have 16 and you include a power or G5 team or two, then it makes it a little bit more reasonable. When there's only 12 and 2 of them end up as Tulane and JMU, it's a flaw in the system. We realize there's a flaw in the system, and it's unfortunate. But listen, let's talk about the games. The first one, Alabama comes back to beat Oklahoma. This was Friday night. It was kind of weird, Sam. We're going into that Friday night game. It didn't even feel like necessarily there was a playoff game happening that day. I was very excited about the game, but without there being like the lead-in of Saturday morning and the game day and everything, it had kind of a different feel. And then
Yeah.
once it started, Oklahoma was rolling.
Yeah. I mean, about an hour before the game, I started to feel it and got really, really excited. And yeah, I don't think it could have started better for Oklahoma. That first quarter was as dominant of a first quarter as you're going to get in a matchup like that.
Yeah, and they were harassing Simpson. They had the field goal. What was it? Tier ran in the first TD on that nice cutback. They got the field goal. Then they move it down the field again a drive later on the pass to Satania. So it's 17-0. Alabama looked lethargic. There was a lot of talk on Twitter and in our chat, like, do they even belong here? And then everything changed. Like they responded. They got the clutch TD drive, and then OU started making mistake after mistake. They had the Xavier Robinson drop, which that was a huge drop and a huge moment in the game because it could have kept the thing going, and that turned directly into that botched punt, which I don't even exactly know how that punt got botched, but the punter just dropped the ball.
Announcer jinx left and right for Oklahoma with the special teams thing, just constantly talking about how good they were in special teams. They lost, -5 expected points added on special teams for Oklahoma. That's an insanely high number on special teams to have not given up a kick return touchdown.
Yeah. And so that blocked punt or muffed punt, whatever you want to call it, led to a Bama field goal. And then they got the pick six. And when that happened, like there had to be a shiver that went down every spine in that stadium because we could feel it as fans that it was already getting tight. And then they did that, and it just felt like Oklahoma lost their grip. They couldn't get it to halftime. And in the second half, Simpson was great. He threw that pass to Brooks, which was awesome. That was his Brooks' second touchdown of the game. Ended up being 27 unanswered points. OU offense did muster a touchdown on the pass to Burks to make it 27-24. Burks had a great game, 107 on 7 receptions. But Bama would not be denied. They went down the field. They got the insane catch by Bernard, drove it down, critical touchdown, and then OU was frantically trying to get back in the game. They get stopped, so they have to try to kick the field goal and then get the onside kick. This is what you're talking about with the jinx. Like their awesome kicker kicks it directly over the top of the upright. It looked like it almost was good, but it wasn't good, and the game was over. And
yeah. So they actually, something about that kick actually happened on third down.
Did it?
Yes.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, shoot, like we're going to run out of time here. We need 2 possessions, kick the field goal, missed it. So that was a big, I mean, it was third and it was a really interesting coaching decision because it was 3rd and 5. So it's not like it was 3rd and 20 and they were like, shoot, just kick it. It was 3rd and 5. However, on the last 4 drives of the game for Oklahoma, where they were trying to frantically get back into it, on the last 4 drives, they had 62 yards, 2 missed field goals, 0 points. Opposite of Clutch Gene.
I mean, there were so many mistakes in this. Both teams made a lot of mistakes in this game, but Oklahoma's were just larger and more impactful. The amount of drops was staggering, especially by Alabama.
Oh my gosh.
I mean,
Alabama's.
I don't know what was going on with the ball, if it was just a weird type of cold where they couldn't catch, but Ryan Williams couldn't catch the ball. There was that critical drop for, Robinson, but really Alabama was having the harder time with that. Essentially, neither team could run the ball. We knew, at least I thought, neither of these teams were national championship caliber going into the game. And that was kind of my main takeaway coming out of it as well. It's like, neither of these teams are going very far in this thing. They're probably losing next round to Indiana. But I did have a fun time watching the game.
It was a fun, I mean, it was one of those games where dumb old Sammy should have cashed out because I felt like that game was going to start really good for Oklahoma. And it did. And then you saw a lot of the issues that Oklahoma has seen all year. And then when you also tack on the special teams issues that they haven't seen, that's how you end up giving up, 27 unanswered. A question for you as we talk about this Oklahoma-Alabama game. John Mateer, does Oklahoma feel good about running it back with him?
I don't know how you could because his passing is so questionable. Now, as I said, in this game, neither quarterback was done a whole lot of favors by their receiving cores. But something's not right about Mateer. We know he had the injury, but like this whole level up to Oklahoma, it looked kind of good at first against bad teams, but he seems like a very, very average quarterback, an above average runner who can make some things happen. But I don't know, man. I mean, like going out in the portal and trying to get somebody, unless you're going after the top
Who do you
couple
get?
guys, you're not sure it's going to be better than Mateer.
I don't know. That's one of my things, and we'll talk about that with Texas A&M in a little bit. I tweeted out, Mateer is a moment's quarterback, and what I meant by that is like he's going to manufacture incredible plays. He's going to scramble. He's going to run. He's going to like throw bombs down the field. He has a rocket of an arm. When he makes one of those plays, the other players on your team have to execute. If they don't, you're in some trouble because you're not going to get the consistent play. And they had a couple plays where they didn't execute. And that's what you get.
I mean,
That's
play,
the John Mateer experience.
The critical play. Mateer had escaped outside the pocket. Like it was a great play by him to get out and get that ball deep and hit the receiver. And he dropped it.
He could have ran for like 20 yards on that play too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's, I think that's also kind of what sucks about this is if he runs that, like if they score that touchdown, I think Oklahoma runs away with the game because it was curtains. If he runs for 20 yards, they probably end up scoring on that drive as well. And now the game is, well, it would have been like at least 20-0. But
credit to Kalen DeBoer and Bama for digging deep.
They outplayed him for 3 quarters.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. I mean, because this thing, it was 17-0 after 20 minutes. There was still 40 minutes of game time to go, and Bama pretty much dominated that game time. I mean, it was 27-7 the rest of the way. Or wait, what was the final score? 34-7 the rest of the way. So great game. Michigan is going to have to wait another 10 days, to find out if Kalen DeBoer is going to be their coach.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think so. Not at this point, no.
I'm kind of wondering, like, Michigan needs a coach. Like,
I think they're rolling with Poggi.
Oh, for like the year thing?
I think so.
Like they're gonna do what Stanford did? I can't imagine they do that.
What other option do they have?
I mean, there's 1,000 coaches that want that job.
Are they better than Biff Poggi? I don't know if they are. I don't know, man.
I don't know. They're in a tough spot, but like when push comes to shove, and we were kind of clowning on Penn State, oh, they can't find a coach. They hire Matt Campbell. Like Michigan's gonna hire a coach, and that coach is going to be good. Like it may not be the cream of the crop, the best of the best coach in the sport. Like Kalen DeBoer is one of those guys, probably. But it's probably going to be a pretty damn good coach.
What if Harbaugh gets fired by the Ravens and they hire him?
Fire John Harbaugh? They're going to hire him? That would be weird, right? Like, he hasn't done the college thing in ever. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just thought it'd be funny.
It would be funny. It would be funny. And he would have some insight from someone who was just there. Miami outlasts Texas A&M. They win 10-3 in College Station. This was a rock fight of a game, 0-0 at the half, but there were still several exciting plays in the first half, especially that Tony punt return that he was so close to taking it all the way back. Like the guy swatted his ankle like it was like a puff of air, and it knocked his foot into his other foot. And that led to a missed field goal. And the wind was a factor in this game pretty much the whole way through, which was evidenced by another missed field goal by the Canes right before the half. So that's why it was 0-0. Miami did score on the first drive of the second half. That was the field goal that was like from the goal line. Do you think that was the right call in that moment?
Maybe, like at a game when points are at such a premium, I think you have to try to get on the board. I think the biggest issue for Texas A&M was at no point did they really look like they were going to be able to put 5 or 6 plays together. Miami, you could run the ball a little bit better. Texas A&M couldn't run the ball.
Yeah.
And like they needed points there. And I also think you're expecting, hey, at some point we are going to get an explosive play. Never happened. Just never happened.
The only one that I can really think of was the Fletcher 56-yard run, which that was when, so they get that field goal, and then Miami fumbled, but A&M couldn't capitalize. And that's when Mark Fletcher went to work. He had the 56-yarder. They handed it to him like 3 more times in a row, kept pounding it, and then they got the Tony touchdown. And so I think it was 10-3 then. And then A&M did make it interesting. Like that last drive, it felt like they were going to pull off a miracle and get in.
And I mean, the Marcel Reed red zone interception issue is significant.
Yeah.
It's bad.
He ended up throwing the game-clinching interception to what I think was a freshman in the end zone. Miami wins 10-3. Obviously, both defenses played outstanding. Neither quarterback was able to pass the ball downfield, as Sam was kind of getting at, and the wind was a factor with that. Miami's defense, though, they had Marcel Reed in absolute hell. I mean, he had 7 sacks on him, 3 of which were by Ruben Bain.
Their defensive front seven is so filthy.
Yeah.
Like every single one of those guys, they move. They're so fast. Them, Texas Tech, and Ohio State. Their defensive front sevens look so big and so fast.
And this was the best. I think this is the best Miami's looked all year. Like on defense.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And that what was interesting to me is like Texas A&M, arguably best offensive line in the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was not
totally out of place in that game. Totally out of place. I don't think Miami has like it's a 10-point spread from Ohio State and Miami for a reason. But if any team can handle Ohio State in the trenches, it's probably Miami from what we've seen on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, Keontae Scott had 10 tackles and 2 sacks in this game. It was just they dominated. They really dominated. Only 2.5 yards per rush allowed by Miami, and most of that was on broken down Reed scrambles.
Marcel Reed, yeah.
Yeah, that was their only offense.
Mm-hmm.
I would say the Miami offense wasn't their offense wasn't clean. Like they couldn't, obviously, they only scored 10 points, but they did a lot of things well. But they talked about this on Cover 3 too. Like it was a little bit too much cutesy stuff in the first half. Like they did that trick play, which I was watching that with my buddy, and I'm like, as soon as he dropped back, I'm like, this is a mistake. Like I don't know why they're doing this, and it fell incomplete, but it wasn't a good choice.
No.
Tony was like backing up and throwing it.
Yeah, they're a little too much smoke and mirrors on offense. And
yes, that's a good way to
gets them into trouble sometimes because they have an elite offensive line. They have good running backs. They have elite pass catchers. They have a good quarterback. Just go out there and play ball. They had a 27% success rate in this game, and they won. That's in the 2nd percentile of games in the last 2 years. I'll have to look back, but I don't think a team with a success rate under like 35% has ever won a playoff game. That's a nasty, nasty success rate.
Yeah. I mean, it was a defensive battle. And Fletcher, really, they should have ran Fletcher more. He only had 17 carries. He ran for 10 yards a carry. He had 172 in the game.
Yeah. He's awesome. Like he's probably a much better back than we've given him credit for, and much better back than they've utilized him this year.
He just he's not a flashy back. Like he doesn't have the genty, like shiftiness or anything like that. He's just a good running back behind a very good offensive line. I mean, I feel like not that he's mediocre or anything, but like there's probably a lot of running backs that could look good on Miami.
Okay. Hokie throwback that he kind of reminds me of, Darren Evans.
Yeah.
There's nothing flashy about him, but he just is like a solid 5 to 6 yards a carry every time.
I also think this win, it was very important for Cristobal, for Miami program, for them to prove all this stuff. It was also important for the ACC to get a win in the playoff. I mean, not that Tech should be taking any credit for this or anything like that, but the conference badly needed something optics wise to look respectable. And this is our first 12-team playoff win.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. I think it is interesting that the narrative coming into this season was so anti-ACC, and then the narrative in the postseason also was so anti-ACC. Like it felt like it had been one of the most consistent things in college football. Like it was like Ohio State and Indiana are still really good. The ACC sucks. Those were the 3 things. For Miami to come out and win that game, a true road game against an 11-1 SEC team, I think it kind of validates that the ACC maybe isn't as bad as the media wants it to be.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not going to carry the banner and say that it's a great football conference, but you got to give credit where credit is due.
I mean, Miami is loaded up. They're one of the most talented teams in the country. Like they just are, and that's been the
Mhm.
case. And they haven't always been able to get this out of it. And they got lucky to get in the playoff. They really did. But they got in there and they won a game. And it was typical Mario. Like it wasn't pretty. There were some questionable calls, and but they had the better bodies on the trenches, and it got them the win. So that's what
Speaking of
hopefully. Go
Miami's
ahead.
defense, they haven't given up more than 3 touchdowns this year. They've never given up 4 touchdowns to a game. Notre Dame scored 24 on them. SMU
Wow.
got 26 in overtime. The most points that they've had scored against them since that Louisville game when Louisville scored 24 was Virginia Tech with 17 in regulation.
Do you think they have a shot to take down Ohio State? I mean, talk about that defensive line
I don't know,
getting to
like,
Julian Sand more than maybe he's been pressured all year.
look at what Ohio State has done to pretty much every offense they've played, and then look at what we just saw from Miami.
Yeah, that's
Does Miami score 17 points? Does
well,
anybody score 17
I
points?
don't.
Indiana is one of the best offenses in the
Yeah,
country, and they've
probably
got
not, Sam. They probably don't score 17
so
points.
they
Ohio
need to
State.
win this game like 14-10.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you're going to keep Ohio State from hitting at least like 150-yard touchdown to Jeremiah Smith.
You know what? Defensive score. They would need like a sack fumble or something like that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they can do against Sam.
Tony kick return, maybe.
This is a throwback to the 2002 national
Mm.
championship, right? Ohio State, Miami, the call late, the pass interference that ultimately leads to Ohio State being able to beat them, and that was a crazy good Miami team. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun.
Where is that game where is it being played?
That's the Cotton Bowl? No, hold on a second. I have it written right here.
So Miami is going to play Ohio State in Texas.
Yeah.
But Texas Tech and Oregon are going to play in Miami?
That is correct.
Okay, cool.
That is correct. Hey, it's a neutral site, Sam. Neutral for both parties. Ole Miss smashes Tulane. We don't have to spend a ton of time on these last 2 games, but Ole Miss scored in 3 plays to start the game. 30 yards, 25 yards, 20-yard touchdown to Lacey. Then they got the interception and scored on 4 plays. So in 7 plays, it was 14-0 real quick. Then there was the Chambliss injury scare. Simmons came in, fumbled inside the 10. Really didn't matter. It was 17-3 at the half. Ole Miss had 10 points in the third, 2 more touchdowns in the early fourth. It was a total wrap. Now, I don't think Tulane is like this bad. Do you just think like the Ole Miss Tulane is a bad matchup for them? Or is
Well, let's look. So they have played 4 times since 2021. And I just had it. Oh shoot, I just lost it. Yeah, it's a bad matchup for them because I don't think they have the dudes, right?
well, the speed
Yeah,
difference was crazy.
The games haven't been close. So I'm pulling it up now. Sorry for that bad podcasting. But so they've played 4 times since 2021. Here are the scores: 61-21, 37-20, 45-10, 41-10. Yeah, we don't need to see these 2 teams play again.
No, I think we're good. We're good. And in the pick'em I'm doing with Rich is hosting, like I picked Tulane to cover 17 because I was like, I don't think they're going to win, but without Lane there, maybe there's a chance. Summerall's still coaching. Maybe there's a chance they could go. No, it was done. It's not as if Tulane couldn't move the ball. Like they moved the ball. Retzlaff had like 300 yards passing, but when it came to nut cutting time, they couldn't make the extra play. They couldn't get the ball in the end zone. They had 3 turnovers. Then they had 3 more turnover on downs. Like it just didn't go their way. And it was pretty clear early on it wasn't going to go their way. And it was kind of a waste of a college football playoff game, if we're all being honest. So
yeah, I was watching Montana State. That was a significantly better football game. Ole Miss's defense caused a 20% havoc rate, which meant on one of every 5 plays that Tulane had the ball, there was a tackle for loss, a pass defended, or a turnover.
Wow.
Yeah. So that, to put that in perspective, also to put it in perspective a little bit, do you know what Ole Miss ranks on the whole for the season in terms of havoc rate on defense?
No.
Have an idea? What if I told you it was 126th in the country at 10%?
Really?
So this is a defense that does not do that. Like, they just don't do it very often.
But
And
against Tulane, they look
but
like
against Tulane, they looked like 20% would be number 1 in the country. So a little bit of an anomaly, but also goes to show you like how much of a mismatch this was compared to what Ole Miss has been seeing throughout the year.
I got a couple comments here from Josh Smithers. Love you guys. I think Miami is a fun team to sleep on. I don't know if that's a knock on Miami or if he meant that they're a fun team and they're a sleeper.
I mean, if they pull off the upset, do they turn like if they pull off the upset, I think they turn into a favorite. Because they'd be the team that gets hot.
Yeah. My pick for Indiana. Josh likes Indiana for the title. I liked them a little bit more before that defensive line injury they had at the end of the championship game. But they're still an amazing team who I think is gonna beat up on Alabama. Billy Ray was in the chat talking about Galante over at Tulane, who's going with Summerall to Florida. So that's pretty cool. One of the former Hokies. Moving over to the SEC. And then Billy also said Tulane, Ole Miss looked like Tennessee OSU or Oregon OSU last year. Yeah. Hashtag safety issue. Yeah. I mean, me and Sam were talking about that. Like, people always want to say, there's a safety issue. These teams shouldn't be in there. But yet we see power teams get blown out too. It's the difference is you at least thought Tennessee was going to have a shot against OSU. No one thought JMU had a shot against Oregon. And
I mean, as someone who bet Tennessee money line, yeah, that was not supposed to go that way.
No. All right, so Oregon outclasses JMU 51-34. This final score and cover by JMU is very misleading. Oregon scored touchdowns on their first 5 drives. No one in the JMU secondary could cover anybody on Oregon. It was a massacre, and Oregon just put in their backups. I do credit the Dukes for fighting, and history will look back on this box score and be like, okay, they covered the spread 51-34. Not too bad. They were to put some scores up in Eugene. But if you watch the game, Dante Moore was incredible and Oregon was just killing them.
That goal line interception that was returned almost for a touchdown is doing a whole lot of lifting, because if that doesn't happen, like if Dante Moore doesn't flutter that ball, which was maybe his worst play of the season, if they just run that ball and score a touchdown, then this looks very different. Oregon had 11 yards per play.
Dude, he threw 2 interceptions. His QBR was 99.1.
Yeah, that was kind
of
That's
how good the rest of the play was.
I think
Malik Benson
ran.
had a great game for the Ducks. Yeah. All those receivers, because they got Decorian more back. Sadiq was there. And then they might get Stewart back for the next round.
Stewart was a game time decision, practiced all week. Dude, they one of their most it's so ridiculous how much talent they have on offense. Like, they're adding a guy who they haven't had all year, who they think is their best guy, maybe.
I know.
I mean, Malik Benson is very, very good, and Decorian Moore is maybe the most NFL prototype, but Evan Stewart was one of their best guys last year. Like, they have a stable of running backs. Their offensive line is getting much healthier. And so, they look good.
They do. And there's not a whole lot more we can say about the game. I mean, JMU's offense, this was a glaring example of talent can keep up. Talent gap can keep up on offensively, because you can scheme it up and you can get some scores or whatever. And yes, Oregon had their backups in the game. Defensively, you can't hide the talent gap. You just can't hide it. And it was so evident with Oregon on offense, spinning it forward. Texas Tech awaits them in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
This is the best game of the next round.
It's a great game. Like, I don't think you could get two more evenly matched teams. I lean Oregon because I looked at Texas Tech's schedule and I really thought, it was like, have they faced a team that has this much talent and speed at the skill positions? Texas Tech hasn't faced anyone like this.
No, and the team that kind of had some was Arizona State.
I don't think Tyson played that game.
He didn't even play. Okay.
I don't know if
but they beat them anyway, is my point.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they didn't.
Utah has athletes, and they played.
Like, oh, shoot. No, you meant they beat them as in Arizona State beat
Arizona State beat Texas Tech. Yeah.
Yes, they did. BYU has like one really fast wide receiver, and that's it. Everybody else is not. I just don't know what that front seven is going to look like against this team. Like, I think they're really fast. They look really do they look really fast, or are they really fast?
I think Texas Tech is going to give the Oregon offense a lot of problems. I do. I think that it's just their defense and their linebacker play, their D-line, it is just so much different. Like JMU isn't on the same planet as what Texas Tech can do defensively. And I know Oregon just looked incredible, and Dante Moore might have been his best game of the season, but I think Texas Tech is really going to give them a hard time.
Yeah. Something to look forward to in that game too, or to look at. Oregon's defense, like you said, they had some backups in. Lanning put some starters back in because he was so pissed off at them. They played 84 scrimmage plays, the defense did. That's a really high number. That's because they kept scoring so quickly on offense. Yeah. They had to keep putting the defense out there. What does that defense look like with a week against Texas Tech? I don't think Texas Tech's offense is like one of the best ones left in this, but something to look out for. They played a lot of snaps defensively in that game.
It's still 15 days away though, right? Or no, sorry, 10. What's the gap in time? It's like Saturday to Wednesday, to Wednesday or Thursday. Mm-hmm. So it's still, they got a lot of time, but they do have to travel. But they were at home. I don't know. I'm not worried about the snap count. Yeah, it was.
Autzen was all of these places were awesome. But Autzen looked unreal. Play all the games on a college campus. Stop being stupid. Also, how good is Indiana now? After watching Oregon again?
Yeah. I mean, Indiana's really Indiana beat Ohio State. People thought there was no doubt that
they beat this team by 10.
I know. Well, this is exactly why I'm telling you, like, I have been a little bit of an Oregon doubter all year, and I just feel like when they play the best of the best teams, like, they struggle. Like, look what happened to them in Iowa City. Look what happened to them in Beaver Stadium. Like, they were skin of their teeth getting out of those places. Mm-hmm. And, Indiana, you could say the same thing about them. They barely got out of Beaver Stadium with a win. But I just feel like Oregon, they're favored in this game. We'll talk a little bit more about it at the end, but like, I just feel like what Texas Tech is doing on the defensive line is they're going to get to more, and it's going to rattle them a little bit.
I mean, the only team this year to really give the Oregon offensive line issues was Indiana. The Iowa game, I think, was very weather related, and Oregon was running the ball really well in that game. Indiana gave them some issues. Is Texas Tech's defensive line as disruptive as Indiana's? I think they can be. We will find out in this one, though.
It's so funny how, like, good the defensive line is for Indiana. And that's why I was bummed when I heard, is it Bailey that's going to be out? Like, that was such a bummer.
It is a bummer. But that program seems very next man up.
Oh, they're going to have somebody else go out there and play with their hair on fire.
Yeah,
and be fun.
Very curious to see how that goes.
Josh, thanks for the kind words before. Merry Christmas to you as well. He said he tried to watch some JMU. Was very disappointed when I saw the highlights. I think Texas Tech can beat Oregon, especially if they don't struggle in the red zone.
They have struggled in the red zone all season on offense.
And this last question before we do our ad break and move to VT Corner. Was the way Alabama showed up surprising to you guys? Yes, it was, because I thought they were dead. I liked Oklahoma to win the game at home. And then that was extremely surprising because, like, Sam, you hinted at it, or no, you talked about how bad Alabama had been for like 6 straight quarters or something like that
Something
against Georgia.
switched.
Yeah.
Something switched there for him, and yeah, credit to them for figuring it out on the fly in Norman.
All right. College Football Monday is brought to you by Jack and Coke. You can see that can right on your screen. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. The #1 cocktail in the world is now available in a can. It's true. Jack Daniel's Tennessee whiskey mixed with Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. Now available in a can at your local grocery and convenience stores. We've been talking about them all season, and we've had a great season. And we've had some delicious Jack and Cokes. The score predictions with Pat were always awesome. I did one with him the first game when we were down in Atlanta. The season didn't go our way, but the Jack and Coke partnership did. And so make sure you're grabbing those mix pack. You can get Jack and Cherry, Jack and Vanilla, and the original Jack and Coke all in one box. 12 in the box. You get 4 of each flavor. They're so good. Don't need 2 bottles at the tailgate. Throw them in your cooler. Bring them to Christmas. Crack it open. It's the perfect mixture. 2 legends, 1 can, Jack and Coke. And when you're having those Jack and Cokes, please drink responsibly. Sam, you said you're having post-gym protein shake over there. No beer tonight?
No beer. We got a little chocolate, peanut butter, banana protein shake action going on. I am starting to selectively pick out my beers for the national title game live stream.
Nice.
One per
Yes.
quarter.
Our natty
Very,
live
very
stream.
excited.
I want to say that's the 19th. The Monday, Martin Luther King Monday, is when the national championship game is. It is that evening. We usually have a variety of guests come on the show, and we're very excited to run that back again this year. National championship, no matter who makes it out of these final 8 teams, is going to be a really fun matchup. I am having the Homestead Creamery eggnog and makers. That's the mixture I got going on over here. And I had shared the image of Turkey Hill eggnog on our Instagram, on our Twitter, and it got me a bunch of responses telling me to go get Homestead. And so I did. And I like Turkey Hill. Like, in terms of like an ice cream, whenever we buy ice cream, it's one of my go-tos. It's a great brand of ice cream. It's delicious. So I saw the eggnog. I went for it. The Homestead stuff blows Turkey Hill eggnog out of the water. Like, it is. I didn't like, because all eggnog, it's sweet, it's creamy. It's not for everybody. Not everyone likes eggnog. People think it's gross, whatever. The Homestead one is I think Jay Tucker called it liquid gold in one of our DMs. And I actually got a lot of DMs about eggnog this past week. So.
It is a special seasonal treat. I actually think it's better with a little bit of bourbon or whiskey in it, because texturally it kind of thins it out a little bit, makes it a little bit more drinkable. So that's my play as well. And good choice with the maker's mark.
I mean, you can do whiskey, bourbon, rum, or even brandy. I typically go bourbon just because I think the sweetness of the bourbon kind of goes better with it. But you can do whatever you want, or just drink it straight. Did you like it as a kid? Like, would your parents get it around Christmas time?
I mean, I grew up drinking it at Christmas time.
Yeah, same with us. We always liked it. So I'm going to take some of this good stuff to my sisters on Wednesday. The kids will probably enjoy. We'll see. But anyway, let's move to slower every time. This is VT Corner, everyone's favorite segment of College Football Monday. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are watching on YouTube. And if you're not following us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please follow us there. Set us up for automatic downloads, so on and so forth. So I was saying earlier in the show, we got a couple of reaffirmations of guys going to come back to the program. Like, guys want to run it back with the team. One of the big ones was Jeff Overton, the freshman running back, who there were some signs that he may be coming back, but officially getting him back in the boat is a huge deal.
Yeah, and I think you're almost guaranteed to be part of that 1-2 punch, and you're bringing in an offensive mind in James Franklin and Ty Howell that clearly run a 2 running back system. So you feel pretty good about getting a lot of run there. I think it's a great move for him. I think he is one of the most, if not the most exciting player heading into 2026.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the way that Miami run alone, like, it was such a He had a couple nice ones before. He got out there in UVA, and what was the game before UVA? It was Miami, and then there was one before that. But he showed enough in just the burst, getting the ball
The
and getting through the line that
the
it was like,
Florida
oh,
State touchdown.
that's what
Or
it
was it
was.
a touchdown? I don't know. I don't remember, but it looked good.
Yeah. So that's very exciting. Brody Meadows, I think, put out that he's running it back. So another offensive lineman in the fold. We talked about the Matt Moore retention and how big that was. And we want to see some of those other talented young offensive linemen coming back because we know we got the recruiting class, but you can't count on any true freshman offensive lineman in year one. We're hoping some of them can play, but you really need the guys in-house, many of them, to say, I want to come back and play for Matt Moore again. So that's at least one down. And I'm sure there's more guys. Like, I'm sure we missed some today. They're all getting everyone's doing graphics. Everyone's re-signing with their teams now.
I
It's
think
very much professional football.
Some of them put it in whatever agreement they have. Like, I want this. I think that's what's happening because you don't see it from everybody. You also have Josh Clark and defensive backs who he was out all year as well. So Meadows and Clark were both out pretty much the whole year.
Clark said he's coming back?
Yep.
Okay, great.
So you have a defensive back there who was expected to be a starter, if not large contributor to this defense. He will be back this year, and Sheldon Robinson in the defensive backfield as well.
Nice. No, that's huge. He was a big commit when we got him. So there's a couple comments here. Circa X Zion. This is the most excited I've been for Hokie football in years. LFG Hokies can't wait for the portal to see who we land for next year. I am very excited about the portal. I have to admit, we're getting closer and closer, and that is going to be fun. And then we have this comment from Godfrey. VT Corner. Nice seeing we are getting Coach Chaos. Any speculation on other assistants on defense? Let's talk about Coach Chaos first, and then maybe we can go back to that. We got this news blurb on X from Matt Zenitz. Texas A&M defensive line coach Sean Spencer is a target for the defensive line coach job at Virginia Tech. Sources tell CBS Sports. Spencer, who has been at A&M the last 2 years, worked with new VT coach James Franklin and Brent Pry at Penn State from 2014 to 2019. So Franklin knows what he's getting in Sean Spencer. This has been rumored for a few weeks. And while it doesn't seem like it's a done deal quite yet, there were multiple people doing this reporting yesterday. And I know you and I both agree, Sam, this would just be huge for the program.
Huge. I mean, to go from I was really worried about building out this staff with not only all the head coaching movements happening, but those guys and their assistants too. And that movement is maybe more important and sometimes more chaotic. When James Franklin came over, it was like, okay, what's he going to bring from Penn State and what's he going to bring from outside? Like, where are the new ideas going to come from? Where's the new experience going to come from? Here's one of those guys. Now, who's at Penn State for a long time, very successful at Penn State and very successful at Texas A&M over the last couple of years as well. So somebody with his track record of almost a decade now, and then also bringing in his recruiting prowess and being at a program like Texas A&M that is as big-time football as it gets, bringing that culture into the building as well, I think is maybe even more important than the X's and O's at sometimes, especially for a defensive line coach.
So at A&M, because he has a couple different stops. So after Penn State, he goes to the New York Giants, goes pro, and Joe Judge was the coach. So we all know that didn't end well. He gets let go there because the whole regime gets let go. He ends up at Florida as their defensive line coach in the first 2 years of Napier. Wasn't the best fit, didn't really work. The stats were not good. But Elko decides to bring him on at A&M, and they were 2 spectacular seasons of production from the defensive line. They were number 2 in sacks per game this year. That's where they are right now. I know there's a couple more games left, but as of right now, Texas A&M is second in the nation in sacks per game. They're like third in tackles for loss per game. Last year, they were top 20, I believe, in both categories. Going back to his Penn State days, the production was there nearly year in, year out. I think they finished first in sacks per game twice in his time. I know it was at least once, and a bunch of other top 10 finishes in sacks per game. He's excellent. And you talked about the recruiting. He had a guy named Micah Parsons on his list. He was in tandem with Brent Pry getting Micah Parsons to Penn State. But we're talking about 40 plus 4-star and 5-star recruits in his portfolio. I got that from Evan G. Watkins on 247. They do great work over there. 40 plus, Sam, 4 and 5-star recruits.
That's just a different, it's a different level, right? It is like outside of the realm of realization for Virginia Tech. Like, it's not something that happens in Blacksburg, and I'm really excited about it. If he can bring some guys with him, that's great. If he helps in the transfer portal, that's great. I think this is also big for the potential retention of Kamari Copeland, who's another one of the most exciting guys. He's going to be an NFL or Virginia Tech guy, I think. So,
Kamari?
yes. So I think it's really.
You think he could get drafted this year?
I think he could get looked at. His tools are ridiculous.
They are. Yeah.
I think
I believe he could be a late pick this year. If he
could be
stays
a late
another
pick.
year, I think he could definitely be a higher pick.
Yeah. And so this certainly helps there.
Yeah, man. I mean, and even when he went to Florida, I think initially he was going to be on Elko's staff at Duke.
Mhm.
And then at the last second went with Napier to Florida. Obviously, it's a bigger job. But the fact that Elko wanted him twice is like, that's a good sign. That's a feather in his cap. And all the success he had under Franklin. Like, Franklin Pry and him work well together. They know each other. They know the strengths and weaknesses. Like, so that's awesome. And then you add all of the other things, as we talked about with the recruiting. I mean, two of our guys, it's not just the recruiting either. It's the development. Two guys that were drafted by our two favorite NFL teams, Carl Nassib and Sharif Miller, were both two of his best developmental stories. Nassib was a walk-on.
Nassib was nothing, and then puts together like a decade NFL career almost. Crazy. So you have the proof of concept is there. He's done it. It's not another coach who, he did it 5-6 years ago, but then it's fallen off. Like, he did it this year. So that for me is also really, really exciting. Somebody who's worked with them. And again, too, like Billy Ray put it in here, a perfect timing, Pete. Let's go. He gives you the energy, rah, make you want to run through a brick wall thing. And I feel like every coaching staff needs. Really, really excited to get him in the building. His energy, his charisma, I feel like is going to play a much bigger role than just defensive line coach.
Yeah. And that's the kind of coach you need. Some of those more vocal guys, some of those guys that can, when no one else seems to have the juice, that still have that excitement and that kind of personality to bring that out. So Billy did put that in there. And I think on the Sons of Saturday account, they put out a video of Coach Spencer today back from his Penn State days, kind of doing just that. And he says, encourage you guys to check out some of his mic'd up stuff from back in the day. And then this is from Josh. I'm wondering, what do y'all think we get at QB next season? Do we go transfer portal? And who do we like? I like the kid from Arizona State, but wouldn't mind seeing what Pop can do. So, yes, we love Sam Levitt. we love
Sam Levitt would be awesome. Okay, so
he's going to be very high priced, though. I think we would both recognize that.
So every single coaching move that Virginia Tech has made under James Franklin has been somebody within the James Franklin tree, like immediate James Franklin tree. I expect quarterback to probably be that as well.
You expect a portal QB who has ties to James Franklin?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not too much of a limb to go out on there. To answer Josh's question from my end, our starting quarterback will be a portal quarterback. There's little to no doubt in my mind. Pop, will either transfer or be battling it out with someone to see if he could win the job. Based on how the last few years have gone, I don't expect that to happen. And I expect us to grab someone who is decidedly better than Pop and has more experience than Pop in the portal.
Yeah, I want Pop to be so good, man. I really do.
I know.
Like,
he's a good kid.
They brought in somebody else to be the backup twice.
Virginia
Tech just saw one of the worst passing offenses in school history, modern school history, and he couldn't get on the field. Like, I think when people's jobs were on the line. So, like, I don't know, man. I don't see it. I think he had one really good game against UVA, and that's about it.
And I think he could
And we
go
love him
to
for that.
another place and be really good. I just think like where he is now, there's already opinion. It's decided on him. It's not changing. The coach that never played him is still on the staff. So
he could be a G5 starter like September of next year for sure. He has a lot of talent. Agree.
And I think he could develop further if he got a chance to play. I just don't think it's going to happen at Virginia Tech. But regarding the last thing about the defensive line coach, J.C. Price, and what is like clearly this means J.C. Price is not going to be the defensive line coach if we're bringing in Sean Spencer. But there are thoughts and rumors and some talk about him still being on staff in a different type of role. I hope that happens. I'd love to have J.C. Price still at Virginia Tech. So, so we're just about done with the coaching staff. We still need an official DB coach.
Well, you just had two defensive backs reaffirm.
Maybe that means someone is known. Yeah, it could be. And then at linebacker, it's going to be Pry, we think, but there doesn't mean there won't be like an assistant linebacker coach or something, because we saw that at tight end. We have an assistant tight ends coach. I think that's going to be something you see with the Franklin staff is like extra assistants, like almost across the board.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of guys who kind of trickle into the staff as we get through winter workouts. So I would expect, the rest of this week and next week, maybe hear a couple names. And then even, after the new year, you might hear a few other additions as an analyst, as a assistant defensive ends coach, or like whatever. Yep. You're going to hear a few of those as well.
So let's talk about the schedule that came out last week. And this isn't the actual dates of the schedule, but our ACC opponents have been released. And the ACC is moving to 9 games. Not for everybody. But for the Hokies, we are playing 9 games. There are 5 teams that are only going to play 8 games. So yes, we have conference teams that are going to be up against each other in the standings, playing different amounts of games. It's very ACC. And the reason this is happening is just because of the numbers. We have 17 teams in the conference, and you got to have some teams that only play 8 games. So it's very strange. But when you saw this come out, Sam, and you see we got the 5 away games, and you see where they are, what are you thinking?
As somebody who did my dissertation in the cost effectiveness and cost engineering around college athletics travel, yikes.
Yeah. If you look at this on the screen, if you're just listening, we have to go to Miami, to Boston College, to Cal, to Clemson, and to SMU. So not only do we have 5 away games instead of 4 away games like some other ACC teams, they're literally at the farthest corners of the U.S. that you could possibly get to. The only way they could make us travel more is if they made us go to California twice or to play FSU and Miami. But like they wouldn't do that. So this is literally like the maximum amount we can travel.
I think you're going to see they've made it known they're not going to make you travel back to back off of a bye week. Like you're not going to have a bye week and then do the back-to-back long travel. The back-to-back long travel is going to be like on the backside of the bye. The bye week is going to be on the backside of the back-to-back travel. Right. So like what Virginia Tech did is they played at Miami on a Friday night. The next Saturday they played at Stanford, and then they had a bye. I think you're probably going to see the same thing here. Like I could see Virginia Tech playing at Miami and then at Cal, and then you get a bye week and then like a string of home games. You're
going to have a back-to-back roadie situation.
Yes, you're going to have a back-to-back long road trip. Like it's going to happen. You're going to have a bye week after that probably, which sucks because the ACC does this thing where they know it's beautiful in the fall when the leaves are changing in October in Virginia, and they know it is quintessential college football in Virginia Tech, and yet they never want to put Virginia Tech with home games in October. They do it every single freaking year. They're going to do it again this year. Virginia Tech's going to have 1, maybe 2 home games in October this year. I guarantee it.
Well, it's tough when you got 5 away games. And we knew this was going to happen. Like you go to 9 games, some years you're going to get 5 away games. Now, you could look at it a couple different ways. One, it's Franklin's first year. So if you're going to give him a bad schedule, I guess make it his first year because you're getting out the kinks anyway. That being said, it's not as if all these teams are killers. I mean, there's a lot of winnable matchups
I can't
on the
believe
schedule.
we got, Boston College and Boston College sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
And Cal, like, we don't know what they're going to be next year. Clemson, they're still Clemson, but it's not it's not
every single team on this schedule will have major questions outside of Miami. Yeah. Miami's the only surefire they're going to be a good team on this schedule.
Yes. I mean, I think SMU is going to be really tough
down
true. There. Like that's going to be a tough one. Now you will notice also there are 13 games on this schedule because there are 4 non-con still, which means one of those has to go, Sam. And I think a lot of people think it's going to be the JMU game that gets moved to another year or something. I'm not sure what's going to happen.
I think so. I think I don't think Virginia Tech wants to drop the VMI game for a few different reasons. And I think that's probably correct. They want to play that game. The Old Dominion game, they've already restructured that contract. Yeah, so they're going to play that game. And I think they are going to play the at Maryland game because the ACC is going to make them play the at Maryland game. So JMU is the one that they're going to cut. I think that sucks because I think it's a matchup that Virginia Tech has wanted for a while now as a little bit of revenge from the last time they played JMU all those years ago. That game was 15 years ago now?
2010. Yeah.
2010, 15 years ago. Yeah, I want to play that game again. But due to that's the classic Virginia Tech cannot make this time meeting due to a prior arrangement.
Yeah. And it's also on September 26th. At least that's the scheduled date now. And that is the furthest one into the season. So it just makes sense to cancel that one and start conference play at that point.
All due respect to the troops. Playing that one week 1. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think the 26th, feeling it out, feeling what the AC's done recently, feeling it out, the 26th will be Georgia Tech at home.
Feels right. It feels right. And the home slate is, we talked about the away slate, but Virginia, Georgia Tech, Pitt, and Stanford. Not exactly the let me grab those season tickets kind of schedule.
I mean, Virginia Tech ticketing is they're
going to sell a ton of tickets because of the newfound enthusiasm. But you look up and down the VMI, Old Dominion, probably not JMU, and then the 4 I just named.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, man. That's a tough sell.
That is tough. But I did see that there is a new route between Roanoke Airport and Dallas, Fort Worth. So just in time. That'll open up in July.
I was actually thinking about this today too, and Billy put this in the chat. Can the ACC play Carolina again? And with Bobby Petrino coming over there, they have Bill Belichick. It would be nice to get UNC coming into our house this year and play them. I feel like we haven't played them in a while.
I think it's one of those rivalries that didn't quite make it into the ACC scheduling algorithm. And unfortunately, they are obsessed with us playing Pitt every single year. And they're obsessed with us playing Boston College all the time. Except for the year that Boston College sucked. That
and
year,
I'm guessing
we cannot play Boston College.
Is that just the old Big East tie-ins? We got to keep those things going.
I think they want to keep that in as much as they can. And UNC is just the team that kicked out. Yeah, I don't know.
So, yeah, this is Tech has had honestly hard schedule in the ACC the past couple of years, and it somehow gets harder. If you go back and look over Prize tenure, most ACC games were 7+ win teams. We were also bad. This year was a sneaky, super tough schedule for the Hokies. It really was a hard schedule. And I know it's the ACC and whatnot, but you look at it, whether it's Collie or FPI, it was up there as towards the top of the conference.
It's going to be tough next year, though. But
yeah, those road games, they're going to loom large. Hopefully we can steal a couple. Like we're not going to be underdogs in every game of those. I think we can win them, but going to Cal could be really fun. I know we're trying to do something for that Maryland game. Like there will be highlights among the season. And you know, it would be a great highlight if we just win more games, Sam. Like
what if Tech wins all those games?
Yeah.
Like it is within the rules possible for Tech to win all those games.
We're going to have the conversation at some point or another. Like, what is success for Franklin in year one? What are the expectations and what is successful? And I think those can be a little two different things at times, but now's probably not the time for that conversation.
I have no idea who's going to be on this team. Not a clue. You're asking like who are like, I feel like it's probably going to be one of Bo Prabula or Grunkemeyer. Don't ask me which one. I have no idea. Is it going to be Colton Joseph? I don't know.
Some broccoli-headed white kid from Pennsylvania.
Some kid from Pennsylvania. I don't know, man.
Let's take a quick moment to talk about Roback, the performance activewear designed for those who crave activity. I've got their Q-zip on right now. This is the green and blue houndstooth. Yep. This thing is very fresh. Just got it. I think I spilled eggnog on it, but that's okay. Make sure you use code 2DeepVT at roback.com. Get 20% off your first order. They have the hoodies, the tees, the polos, and of course the quarter zips as well. Tons of Virginia Tech options, as well as so many other school options. I actually just got, hopefully he doesn't listen to this, but my mom's boyfriend, Duke fan. Now, Duke doesn't technically have licensing on Roback, but they do have a Duke polo. The state of North Carolina in that royal blue grabbed that bad boy. So
you know what I grabbed for Christmas gift? A dog collar, really good looking dog collar with like the old fashioned, like old fashioned is in the cocktail kind of ingredients on it. Yeah,
dude, that's great. I love it.
A lot of gifts on there.
This is a newbie for me. And then, they make great gifts. So go to roback.com, use code 2DVT to get 20% off your order. Roback Crave Activity. Final four is set in FCS, Sam. We've got Illinois State. They took down Villanova. The Cinderella story continues. They go to Philly. They get the win. Montana State takes down Montana 48-23 in Bozeman. Montana State has been they've been a freight train all year long, and with North Dakota State getting knocked out of the way by Illinois, this is theirs for the taking. Now, the line is 9.5 for Montana State favored. I don't want to count out this Illinois State team, man. They have.
I do. I'm laying all the points.
Oh, you're laying
all the points. What Montana State did twice to this Montana team, that was steamrolling everybody they played except for the Bobcats. That team is just different. They're defensively, they play at a different speed. Offensively, they have a ton of weapons. Yeah. Montana State would probably make a bowl game.
Yeah. I mean, look at the teams that just came up. Delaware and Missouri State. They made bowl games.
Yeah, they're better than both those teams. They genuinely.
You think Montana State's better than Delaware?
I think so. I think they could beat them.
I think you might be right. So that is taking place in Nashville this year. It's actually taking place at the Vanderbilt Stadium,
which is really cool. No one needs to go to Frisco, Texas.
No, it's a much better location. I would imagine Illinois State will have a lot of rep there. Like there will be a lot of people coming down from Illinois. Not the farthest trip in the world for them. And Montana State, they haven't won a title since 1984, I don't think. So they're going to be.
Did they pretty juicy. When did they played in it? Like last year or something, didn't they?
Montana won in 01.
Yes.
But Montana State hasn't won since 84.
Oh, they haven't won. So when were they in it?
They made a pretty good run. Did they get to the championship game? Because I don't know if they got there.
Yeah. In 2020, hold up, let's look. Yeah, in 2024, they lost last year they lost in the title game to North Dakota State.
Okay. All right.
By 3.
I forgot that. Damn. So it's their time. It's Montana State's time. They need to go out there and take it. But the Cinderella story of Illinois State, who doesn't even have a number by them, because you know how in the FCS they rank them, and then there's
Mhm.
a couple like at larges they throw in there like division champs and stuff. Like they don't even have a number, and they're in the title game, which is pretty
Yep.
cool. Best bowl games before we talk about the playoff, and we'll close this thing out. 3 bowl games tomorrow. Louisville taking on Toledo in the Boca Raton Bowl. The other 2 didn't look so good. And then Hawaii Bowl on Wednesday. Cal and Hawaii. Cal's
Mhm.
got the cool helmets. Did you see those?
Cal's helmets are sick.
Yeah. Those were really sweet. Hawaii's actually favored in that game. 1.5-point favorites.
Playing at their home stadium, which I think is kind of cool. Also, I bet they wish they were able to go somewhere else, but hey, maybe they like it. Going to be a fun game.
It's already paradise.
Yeah. Going to be a
And
fun
then the
game.
Pop-Tarts Bowl between Georgia Tech and BYU is on Saturday. 4.5-point favorites are BYU. And then in the Gator Bowl, UVA and Mizzou also on Saturday. Mizzou, 4.5-point favorites as well. So I think I like BYU to win. Georgia Tech kind of got exposed a bit as the season went on, but
BYU
will have his guys.
gives them a bowl game too. One of those programs that lives and dies for bowl games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
I think Mizzou, well, I don't know what to expect out of Mizzou and UVA. I really don't. I mean, Prabul is in the transfer portal. I would assume he's not playing.
He's hurt anyways. Like
he came back and played.
But barely.
Yeah.
He was limping around. That's an interesting game because I think Missouri has some guys that are going to come back anyway next year that are probably playing. So those will be 2 like pretty full rosters, I think, for Missouri and UVA. Another one that's up here in New York, up in the Bronx, Clemson, Penn State.
Right.
Huge names for the Penn State Bowl. I have no idea which players are playing in that game. I see Clemson's favored by 3. I can't imagine Penn State has defensively. They got a lot of guys in the portal.
They do, but so does Clemson. Like there's a lot of guys for Clemson that declared for the draft and aren't playing. So I'm taking the points with Penn State, but I don't know how much of this game I'll actually watch.
Somebody asked if I was going to go up to the game, and I was like, "Why would I go to the Bronx for anything but like maybe a Yankees game that I'm invited to?"
You love opt-out ball.
I do not believe that you should play football games in baseball stadiums. If you want to go to Yankee Stadium, go to a Yankees game.
Yeah. No, I'm with you, man. Billy is asking, what are your thoughts on Dillingham's $20 million plea at his presser? I don't like it.
I would say whomst among us has not begged elderly men from Phoenix for $20 million. Whomst among us?
I mean, the way, like, it was kind of funny the way he was presenting it all. Because essentially it's like, dude, there's so many of you rich MFers out here. Someone just write me the goddamn check.
Was he being facetious? I think he was being like very facetious.
I don't know, man. But it was kind of funny. But yes, when Stoops did the NIL begging a couple years ago at his presser, I hated it. Like these rich football coaches asking to give the program money. You just got to find a better way to do it than that way. You can't be doing that at the press conference.
If only there was a multimillionaire who really liked Arizona State football.
Right.
Who could that be? Is he in the room with us right now?
That's what Dillingham's trying to get at.
He's done it before. Like he's been big with them. Like they need to change the way they do tailgating, change the way they do. Like he's
practice
very
facility, things like that. Yes, he's been all over.
He wants a tailgating facility.
Yes, he does.
Which actually kind of makes sense, but yeah.
Because it's hot. Yeah.
It is hot in Phoenix. Yeah.
All right, let's put this on the screen and make some picks. We don't have to do too much on this because we might have a chance to go over this again on Monday, but these are your quarterfinal matchups. We got the Cotton Bowl, Miami against OSU.
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State is 9.5-point favorites.
Ugh.
It feels like too many, but
it does feel like too many. But also, if I told you the score was 27-17,
not surprised at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the way that Miami's offense looked against A&M. Now that was a road game, and this will be, not on someone else's turf, but man, I'm going to take Miami right now.
Okay.
Early lean. I'm taking plus 9.5. How about you? You don't
I'm probably not betting that line. I think it's too big to bet, but I understand why the line is where it is.
Orange Bowl, Oregon against Texas Tech. We raved about how cool this matchup was. Texas Tech, 1.5-point dogs. even though they had the bye. I like Texas Tech. I'm taking them straight
I
up.
like the Ducks. I'm taking them.
Okay. Rose Bowl, Bama against Indiana. Indiana 7-point favorites. That's the number I've got off of I think I pulled that off ESPN, but it's 7, 6.5, 7.5, depending on where you're looking. I think I'm on Indiana.
Yeah, I think so too.
And then the final one, Sugar Bowl, Ole Miss against Georgia. We didn't really get a chance to talk about this one too much earlier, but this is another rematch. One of the three we've had so far. Georgia, 7-point favorites.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think Ole Miss can cover that. I don't know if Ole Miss will win, but I think they can cover 7.
Yeah, it is a big number, especially if you look at how this game went when they played in Athens. Ole Miss was kind of dominating this game for a little bit, and then Georgia had a crazy fourth quarter and came back to win that game. It was a very high-scoring game. I would expect this one to be high-scoring again as well. The things that have made Georgia struggle this year are not things that Ole Miss does particularly well. I do think there are going to be points in this game, but I think Georgia, I trust Kirby Smart in this situation more than I trust a coach who just coached his first game ever last week.
Yeah, I think you're right there. Georgia gets the win. Right now, I'm leaning Ole Miss to cover. So that will wrap up those.
If you were to parlay Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, and Indiana, that's plus 378 money line. How does that sound?
That's a lock.
That's a lock.
That's a lead pipe lock.
I mean, there you go.
Where are you heading tomorrow, Sam? Where are you off to?
I'm heading back to Richmond with the family, spending 5 days or so with them. Really exciting. Finally get to see my dog again, who I maybe miss more than the rest of them, but I hope they aren't listening and don't hear that. But yeah, very excited for that.
That's fun, dude. Have you seen the movie Four Christmases? We were doing this like movie questioning
Reese Witherspoon.
on the last one. Yes. No.
Yeah. Okay.
No one knew any of the references I was making on the Christmas episode, but yes, Four Christmases is Vince Vaughn and Reese Witherspoon. It's a funny movie. I'm about to live that movie over the next like 5 or 6 days. Like on Christmas Eve, going to Delaware, Jersey on Christmas Day, back to Delaware, Pennsylvania. It's gonna be a freaking whirlwind of drinking and family time and food, and I'll be about 15 pounds heavier when I talk to you next week on College Football Monday.
Not a problem. Bulking season. That's why we got the protein shakes in here. 2 scoops, Pete.
It is bulking season. And then we start cutting come spring football practice. That's when we start cutting. Reese was great per usual. Billy was watching the Four Christmases. Yeah, it's a classic. When she goes into the bounce house in that movie, it is one of the funniest scenes. It is
hot take from Billy Ray. Reese Witherspoon, good actress.
Yes, she is good. If you made it to the end of the show, put the word cotton into the comments. Sam, I didn't even take down the logo behind for the rest of the show.
Man. I think somebody got a little upset at my NC State hoodie today.
Oh, they didn't like that. Was that the first comment? The bad look? Was that about that?
Maybe.
This one. Bad look. This is a 705.
Hey, I'm marrying into this. Okay.
Yeah, you can't. Hey, I'm married to a JMU Duke, so I had to I have to root against my will at some point too. We all have to do the things we don't want to do for love sometimes. That's just how it goes. Make sure you guys are subscribed on YouTube. Sons of Saturday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, as well as the 2D podcast feed on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a happy holiday. We really appreciate all you guys listening. If you want to support the show, like I said, you can click on the Buy Me a Coffee link and drop a donation in there. Buy us a beer. Buy us a coffee. That's something. Those are our 2 themes, right? Like the starting to College Football Monday is all about coffee. And then the starting to Too Deep, has a lot of things about beer in it, but we love our drinks. And so if you want to donate something to us, hit that Buy Me a Coffee link. But your listenership is always enough for us. We want you to know that. Happy holidays.
We are closing in on 140,000 views on YouTube alone this year. Thank you so much. Blows my mind.
It's been a banner year, man. Thank you to all who have listened. Happy holidays. And until next time, go Hokies.
Go Hokies.